Why does it look so dark on the camera? I don't know. Fucking Bible, man. What's you know, I've been studying it, reading it, going through it for a while now. Occasionally I talk about it in videos. I did one about Lot and that whole weird situation. And I brought up how much incest and weird shit there is in this in the Bible, you know. Incest especially, it's just like, what is that all about? Lately in sort of media and pop culture, not super, well, yeah, mainstream too, there always seems to be doing a push for incest. Porn has been on that tip for a long time, where if you were to go to, you know, and this is what I've been told, because I of course don't watch porn. I really don't, though, not anymore. But they're always trying to main page incestual stuff, you know. And I've been watching a lot of old wrestling stuff lately, because I got back into wrestling. And over in WWE, Vince is always trying to run some kind of incest angle. In fact, he did a thing. Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? Good. I felt like I had something to tell you, and I'm like, I couldn't think of it quick enough. I'll see you back there. But he's always trying to run some kind of incest deal, and he had one about him. He wanted to do an angle where Stephanie's daughter turned out to be the mother of this child he was, and they didn't run with it, thankfully. But those are just two examples. It's popped up in other places too, because occasionally I'll see someone write about something or call attention to some show or some kind. There was an animated series that was doing that too, like one of these more adult-centered kind of animated series. Forget what it was. It was kind of like done as a joke, but it's, you know, there's a push for it. There's a push for it. So knowing what we know about who controls all that stuff, right? And then going back to who's doing all these Bible translations, because they have to be translated from Hebrew. And it's not like that's being done by like Celtic people or you know, Aryans or anything like that. It's done by the people that hate those people and want to kill them for the most part. So it's the same guys. And that's why a lot of Bible stuff, like there's so much of it, Old and New Testament, that I just read and I'm just like, I don't know about that. Jesus, and this is New Testament. He was going on about people worshiping other gods besides him. And he said, and he was saying that if someone comes to you and says, hey, let's worship some other god, which, you know, of course, a lot of people do that from time to time. I have that happen to me at least a couple times a week. Hey, you know what? Let's worship this. But I guess it was a thing that happened back then. But he said if it did, if someone was to come and do that, you have to put them to death by your own hand. Well, he said it's two things. I don't know how this works out, but he said they must die by your own hand, and also by stoning, where everyone has to stone them and kill them. And he's like, if it's your son, if it's your... The way they describe it, too, in the Bible, I forget how they say it, but it's like even your loving wife, it just makes it even more sinister, must be put to death immediately, or as soon as people can kill them with stones. And their city, or their village, however it was put, must also be destroyed, and all those people must be put to death. That seems a bit extreme to me, and it doesn't seem very Jesus-y. You know what I mean? In fact, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible, New and Old, that is not very Jesus-y or runs counter to, you know, what my perception is of him, and a lot of what I'm sure what other people's perception of it is of. It's weird. It's really weird. And there's like, he's got this really, in both versions, although it's more extreme in the Old Testament, he's very haughty, very braggadocious, very like there's a lot of moments like, he's what, you think I can't do that? I could do anything, like that kind of shit. And it just gives me a bad feeling when I'm reading this stuff. I'm like, ugh. And I don't know. You know, I talk a lot about frequency and vibration, and you know how different feelings run on a frequency scale, a vibratory scale, even. You know, vibration being the movement that you see, but it's not really. You have to have the frequency first before the vibration. However, all that works, but. You get these feelings about things, you know, sometimes it's just how this feels right, or this person is a liar, or this person, you know, you kind of get these things, and that's all frequency, like radio stations. I mean, that's really all you are, too. You're like your radio signal. The antenna is your body that's broadcasting to. We've gone over this so many times. As far as I'm concerned, that's settled science squared. It's just a fact at this point. Settled facts. Yeah. Hey, the science guys do that. It's a fact. Really? You think so? Well, yeah. Because if it wasn't a fact, then I would be wrong. And I'm not wrong, so it's a fact. Every time I close that book, I come away with a bad... Well, not always. I mean, sometimes I come away with a good feeling. It's funny, there's some... I'm saving so many parts to return to, but I'm usually reading it in the bathroom. And not when I'm going to the bathroom, but a lot of times, like, when Nia's asleep, you know, I want light. And so I go sit in there. Yes, on the toilet, but it's the only seat in there. And or sometimes I'll take a little mini light in the bed and read it, but it's just more comfortable to have. I don't need to explain this. This has nothing to do with anything. But there's so many different points that I'm like, I gotta save this to read this, or I have to look back at this again. Or I think about doing like a video in there to read parts. I'd probably do that. It'd be kind of interesting, so I could show you what I mean. I've been putting Q-tips into saved spots in the Bible, so it looks like a Q-tip porcupine, the top of that book at this point. The one I use anyway. I have a bunch of different ones, but the edition I'm using currently has old and new bound in the same book, so it's kind of handy to go back and forth and compare things. And yeah, I found this passage the other day about what he's going to do to the wicked, and man, it's awesome. I almost just said not in an ironic way, it's biblical. But it is. But he said how he's going to punish the wicked. I think it wasn't even in relation to like harming children, but that's the whole millstone thing. You're gonna need a lot of millstones for this world, for this island alone. A lot of that goes on here. It's a big hub for that stuff, but I've already gone over all that, you know. I think I've gone over it as much as I can without being banned, you know. But so yeah. But anyway, that was cool, and there's inspiring stuff in there too, sprinkled in. But for the most part, I always like close the book like, oh man, what the fuck, you know? There's some awful stuff in there. All the sacrifice, all the blood sacrifice. I don't know. It's just a book, as I say all the time, and I know that probably upsets people. Well, not like you guys, you're all cool, but I mean, there's people that would hear that and be upset by it. But it's just a book written by mortal men. Men who can be controlled, who can be swayed, who have agendas. Translated by people who definitely have agendas, can be swayed from their own language. So it's like, I don't know. I don't mean to say like, well, I'm just gonna believe the good things, and I'm gonna leave out the bad things. If it's not a case of that, you have to. You don't really have to accept all of it. I'm not going to accept all of it. I don't care. I'm not one of those people like, oh, if it's in the Bible. And the whole idea of a God that doesn't want you worshiping other gods, to the point that if you even bring it up, you must be murdered by the person who heard you say it. And there's also this thing about doing an investigation on people who you think may have mentioned worshiping other gods. Like, there's this really paranoid whole section where if you think someone has mentioned worshiping other gods, you must do a thorough investigation. This is New Testament, by the way, this whole thing. All this what I'm saying right now tonight is just all New Testament. This is all from New Testament. You must do a thorough investigation and if you find it to be true, again, kill, destroy the village, destroy the land. Like, why is he so, is it a self-confidence issue? Like, what the hell is going on? And when he's portrayed, too, well, God, and Jesus as well, they're just kind of dicky. They're always like I said, like braggadocious or haughty are the two, I don't know. It just kind of makes me think, like what is going on? There has to be, of course it's messed with on some level. There were rulers throughout history who would fuck with things in the Bible to be more, make them look better. I couldn't think of a simple word. My advanced Alzheimer's kicking in. I shouldn't say that. I don't want to meme myself into actually having it. But yeah, it's weird. It seems like whenever I crack that book, which is every day, and to go back to things or to read things or to compare things, more often than not, I come away from it with like a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, man, it's fucked. Why is God an asshole? I don't think he is. I know him. I talk to him. Talk to him every day. I do that. I have a relationship with God. You have to. You have to. And he accepts me, right? And all the fucked up shit I do. The potty mouth and everything. But you're telling me during this period, you couldn't, if you thought you heard a rumor that someone said they wanted to worship someone else, you had to go burn their village down. So what the fuck is that? That doesn't make any sense at all. I don't know. I do videos about the Bible like this, and I just like this, and I say the same things, and I always end it the same way. Like, I don't know. Because I don't know what to think, man. I don't know what to think about it. This stuff isn't presented to you. There's a whole thing. You can be a Christian and a good Christian and go to Mass or whatever, and you follow the things. But then, there's a lot of people that don't really read the Bible, and that's fine. But when you do, it's like, wow. I wonder what some of these people would think if they actually did crack that book. Because it's fucked up. It's bloody. It's pornographic. God and Jesus, they don't seem like the coolest dudes. New and Old Testament. I mean, he does good acts. Jesus does good things. But, he flexes about it. He wouldn't have to. Here's the thing. This is the Danzig thing. If you are it, you don't have to tell people you're it. You're just it. If you're not it, you have to, like, if you're a tough guy, you don't have to tell people that. They can see just by however you act or whatever you're doing. It's evident. You don't have to go around saying you are. The people that usually go around acting like they are not. Okay? So if you're God or Jesus and you have these, you have the cachet you do, and you know you have it, and you wouldn't act the way they do. You just wouldn't. It's just, you know, and I don't claim to know the mind of divine beings or anything, but are you telling me human beings are more advanced in that area? I don't know. Maybe they are. You know, maybe we're more advanced than I think. But I don't think that's what it is. I think there's a misrepresentation going on with these books. And I thought that for a very long time. And I haven't put together exactly how and why, but I think in some ways it's meant to sway you in a certain direction, or to sway you in a certain line of behavior. That isn't what it was probably intended, because you think about it, this is the most powerful piece of writing in the Western world, in a lot of other parts of the world as well. So it would behoove people to fuck with it for their own purposes, you know. It's like, can we get a couple, like, people from the Caucasus Mountains in there to help translate? Well, they can't translate it. It's not in their language. I don't know. Again, same ending. I don't know. Oh, I add so much to the conversation. Thanks for stopping by, though. I'm still having my week banned. I'm still banned right now, so this video is just, I'm gonna put it up when I get back on. But yeah, it's funny. I think I've made more videos this week that I've been banned than I do when I'm usually there. And oddly enough, I've gotten more subscribers this week where I'm not on it than I had in usual weeks. It's weird. So maybe it's a good thing. It is. You know what though? As everything that is bad or that comes to you bad in this world of inversion, a lot of times it's a blessing in disguise. You know, it's that meme of God holding of the girl wanting a teddy. I'll put it up on the screen, explaining it. The image is a lot more powerful by itself, but yeah, that happens a lot. What's being depicted in that meme, that's God is great, you know. He's not upset about he's not going to send you on a fact-finding mission based on gossip. I just don't believe that. I don't care, whatever. Maybe I'm a heretic. I don't believe it. And I don't know, whatever. Carry on, wayward sons. Don't blame the teacher, blame the school.